So Navy Federal is going to be discontinuing being able to fund your Navy Federal Go Prepaid card with your Navy Federal credit cards. So you'll have to let me know, did you do a last funding of your Navy Federal Go Prepaid card with your credit cards? Because I was like, wow, I would say this is probably the biggest change that they have made in a while. And I had did a poll on my community tab, and this really impacted quite a bit of people. And so I'm very surprised about it. Now, on the one hand, banks and credit unions make changes all the time, but especially with Navy Federal being known to have high credit card limits and then being able to fund and so many other things, it's just kind of surprising that they did this quick turnaround, because the email came out on a Wednesday and pretty much it was going to be 1 week that this change was going to go into effect. So I wonder how many fundings really happened within that time. That's crazy. But in this video, I really wanted to talk about, wow, with this change happening, do you think that this is going to spark other changes within Navy Federal? On my last video, y'all, it was some comments, but it was this one comment that sparked a couple of other comments where they were stating where Navy Federal gonna start cutting limits. And I was like, dang, man, they'll be cold-blooded if they start doing that. That'll really get people riled up. So you'll have to let me know, do you think Navy Federal is gonna be making any other changes, or are they gonna let this cool off for a little bit? But in this video, I really just wanted to talk about what kind of changes do you think they will make, and how can we be prepared? Let's get into it. I'm still kind of surprised with this change, but like I said, it's not necessarily that, they're making the change because, banks and credit unions make changes all the time. It's really that they're making it so quick, within that quick turnaround. And I don't think nobody saw it coming except for Edmund. I want to shout out to Edmund because he had kind of said something maybe a few weeks ago, but I couldn't find nothing about it. And so, especially when I got that comment stating that Navy Federal might start doing some credit limit cuts, I was like, dang, I hope not. Because, see, I have 3 Navy Federal credit cards. I got the Navy Federal More Rewards, the Navy Federal Flagship, and the Navy Federal Cash Rewards card. And so I'm just like, I really wouldn't want them to cut in my limits. But on the same hand, do you prefer that you have the credit card, or do you want the high credit card limits? Now, a couple of years ago, Bank of America cut not 1, but 2 of my credit cards, and I was hot, y'all. I was like, dang, that was cold-blooded. But I was like, for one, they didn't even let me know. And I'm just like, if they would have at least cut the limit, I think I would have been okay with them cutting the limit, because those 2 credit cards, I want to say one was 12.5 and one was 15. So even if they would have cut that in half, that wouldn't have been so bad. And so, with my Navy Federal credit cards, I would rather for them to cut the limits, even though I don't want them to cut the limits, than just close the card altogether. So I'm just like, I hope they don't be doing nothing like that. So we'll see. Say the first thing that we should do right now, we should do an audit on our credit reports, because our credit report is made up of 5 components. So we have our payment history, our credit card utilization, our length of credit, our new credit, and our credit mix. But I would say the 2 things that really can impact us is our credit card utilization and our inquiries. Because if we're talking about, it's possible that Navy Federal or any of the other banks, if they're going to start slashing credit limits, then that's going to most definitely impact our credit card utilization. Because let's say if you have a $10,000 credit limit and you owe $5,000, well, if they cut your limit to $5,000, then that's going to take you from 50% credit card utilization to 100% credit card utilization, depending on if you just have that one credit card or if you have other credit cards. So when we're taking a look at our credit card utilization, it's good to take a look at it overall and our individual credit cards, because this is going to depend on how many credit cards you have. So if you only have that one card, then that's where, if you go from 50% utilization to 100%, man, that's going to mess up the credit card utilization, and then your credit score is going to go down. So that's why I think it's important to take a look and audit our credit card utilization first. but then also our inquiries, because if we're applying for a lot of credit around this time, that doesn't look as good as well, because we have high credit card utilization and a lot of inquiries. They're like, dang, what's going on? You are running up this credit card utilization and having a lot of debt, but then on the same hand, you're trying to apply for a lot of credit. So that really just doesn't look good. So I would say during this time, especially let's say within the next 3 to 6 months, because we don't know what kind of change is going to be coming down, we really want our overall credit to look good, but especially our credit card utilization and our inquiries. Now, with our credit card utilization, we want our utilization really to be 7% or less. But the thing is really about how much are we reporting opposed to how much do we owe. So you'll have to take a look at my last video where I was talking about, well, one, how long could I float this? I want to say it was like $630 on this credit card. It was on my Citi Thank You Rewards credit card. How long could I keep a balance on that card without paying interest on it? But overall, I just think, one, what kind of changes do we think Navy Federal going to come down with? But then two, how can we do an audit on our credit just to make sure right now within the next 3 to 6 months, but really all the time, because it's just like you never know when you're going to need to use your credit. So you always want your credit to be good, because one, you never know if you're going to want to apply for a credit card, credit line increase, maybe you want to buy a house, a car, and then overall your credit score really impacts a whole lot of things. Maybe you're trying to get an apartment. It could be so many different things. Even jobs these days are pulling credit reports. So that's why it's good to always maintain an overall healthy credit profile. But you'll have to let me know, what are you thinking about this? But then also, especially with today being the last day that you can fund your Navy Federal Go Prepaid card with the Navy Federal credit cards, what's going to be your go-to? What are you going to do since you're not going to be able to do that anymore? Let us know in the comments. Well, I hope that you found this video helpful. Please like, subscribe, share with a friend, and turn your notification bell on so you'll be notified when new content drops. I thank you so much for watching. Until next time, make sure that we got our finances in order for 2026. And so you'll have to go and check out my digital budget planner on my Etsy shop. Y'all, I'm very excited about it. You have your monthly budget, you have your debt repayment and your debt tracker. I'm very excited. I added a bingo savings planner to where you can put a few other things that you're trying to do. Possibly you're trying to save 1,000 or 5 or 10,000. So you can put that in there. Maybe you want to get you a high yield savings, possibly open up a Roth IRA. So you can put your savings goal in the boxes and just mark them off as you complete it. But then also you can always go over to my website and get my free budget and debt repayment template. And I even added the bingo savings for that as well. So you can drop down in the description and go over to my website or my Etsy shop. It's not a game.